السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم فقهنا في الدين. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا آمين يا رب العالمين. So here we are with our session number 214 for Quranic Arabic Grammar, in which we are learning Sarf and Nahu of Surah Al-Qalam. So inshallah, we are going to start with a quick recap of from our previous session. In the previous session, alhamdulillah, we were able to learn that when inna is there and its khabar is jumlatul fi'liya fi'il madin, this tool of tawqeed cannot attach to the khabar. What was the tool that cannot come with the khabar of inna if the khabar of inna is fi'il madin? Let me see if you're able to type your answers. Barakallahu feekum. Very well done. So when you have your khabar, like we have here, balona, you cannot have lam attached to it. But can you expect to see lamul musahlaqa with fi'il mudari? Absolutely, you will be able to see that. Okay, there are many, many, many examples of that in Quran, right? So if you go back to your notes, I hope you all got a chance to look back at your notes and were able to see the places. Let me see here. So here, inna fariqam minhum la yaktumun. You are seeing lamul musahlaqa there, right? So utul kitaba la ya'lamuna. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. The fi'l mudari does have lamu tawqeed, or which is also called muzahlaqa when it is seen along with inna, because it shifts the khabar or ism of inna towards the end. But we are right now talking about lamul muzahlaqa. When do we expect to see lamul muzahlaqa? We are going to see lamul muzahlaqa if the khabar is fi'l mudari. And then there is a group of scholars that they say that if the khabar of inna is preceded by qad, then lam can attach to it and lam can attach itself to qad. And in that case, you will see lam muzahlaqa, but it's not going to directly attach itself to fi'l madin. I hope this is clear to each and every one of you. If it is, type 1. Alhamdulillah. So now come back here. Okay. Now I'm going to just again, we have a lot of, um, a review to be done in these verses because they're very special verses of Quran, and I still don't think that I have done justice to these verses. Okay, these few verses that I have covered in the last session. So when we were learning about is aqsamu la yasrimunnaha musbihin, and we call this vow. Do you remember what did we call this vow? What was the name? We called, okay, itrad or istinaf, right? We can call it istinaf or itrad, right? Some may call it istinaf, but some may call it itrad. What is going to help me if I call it istinaf, then whatever follows after it is going to be what in status. So if I call this vow isti'naf and this fa atf, the sentence after fa ul atf is going to be la mahalla laha min al i'rab. Do you all understand that? Because of vow, calling this vow isti'nafiya, I will make this sentence la mahalla laha min al i'rab, and then the next one is la mahalla laha min al i'rab bil atf. How many of you understand it? If I call this fa as atifa, then this sentence is also going to become la mahalla laha because I call this one as waw isti'nafiya. Now, okay, now let me just bring back one thing. If I call this waw al-itradiya, waw itradiya, where do you expect to see waw itradiya? Where do you see an interjection? If I show you my slides from before, actually Google Doc from before, where do you expect to see you are expected to see waw etrad between two grammatically related structures. Don't even call sentence, just even you call structure, that will suffice. Is this clear to you? Two grammatically related structures. If you have two grammatically related structures and there is a vowel in between, that's going to be waw etrad. Okay? Do you all understand this, or other sisters need some review of that? Okay. Okay, to me it looks like Bauhal. Okay, so yeah, you some may think it is Bauhal. Yeah, some may call it Bauhal. There is that is how people come up with different explanation for different things. That okay, let's see here. Okay, now this one is coming up here. Okay. Now, no, let me just yeah, so Sister Faiza is saying that, and that's a very valid point. Sister Rabiha, what did we learn about wow hal? If there is a jumla hal, yeah, actually not wow hal. If there is a sentence that is beginning with la, what did we learn about that? What did we learn about that? Wow does not have to be there, right? No need of wow, no need of wow if your sentence is a halia sentence. But that is where learning all these rules come into play. When you learn different types of rule and you put them together, that is how you solidify your understanding of grammar. So now you have learned this concept, and you may find in some of the books this being labeled as wow hal. What is the problem now? What is the problem now? How can you defend what you are thinking? Because it is followed by la, I'm not going to call it wow hal. Is this clear? And we have gone over it in our previous sessions, just recently, not too long ago, right? Where you expect to see, when there is a ma, you will see wow, right? Muwadeul wow. And when there is la, you don't expect to see wow in the beginning. Okay, right? So alhamdulillah, now come back to whatever we were. Now the question is wow etradiya versus wow istinafiya, right? Now we were doing that, right? We were focusing on that. But the difference between wow etradiya and wow istinafiya. Okay, so remember these few points about that. Okay, you may see wow etradiya between, you are going to see wow etradiya between grammatically linked structures. Okay, you can see it between akhbar, you can see it between jumla shartiya and jawab, just like here, right? فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا. This wow was considered wow itradiya, and the sentence was jumlatul itradiya la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, and then fattaqun nar, fa was rabita, and then there was a beginning of jawabu shart. Then you saw it between fail and the mafulun bihi, right? قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. This jumla, this whole sentence is without wow, but you're seeing a jumlatul itiradiyya. But when just focusing on just wow itself, you are going to find it between two grammatically related structures. Okay, so now let's come back to it. If we are going to call this waw itrad, and the sentence becomes jumlatul itiradiyya, and then when we look at fatafa alayha ta'ifum min rabbik, so what is the ease now? Can we now connect this fa, still call it foul atf, still call it foul atf, and can you connect it to aqsamu, aqsamu, right? What do you think? What do you all think? That now they took an oath, then a hurricane came upon the Jannah from the Rab while they were sleeping. Is this clear? Now, if I am connecting it to aqsamu, what will be the status of tafa alayha ta'if, ta'ifun min rabbika wa hum na'imun? No. When I'm calling it, معطوف على أقسموا. Is has made أقسموا jar. It has made أقسموا في محل جر, right? مضاف إليه. So طاف عليها is going to be also jar in status, right? It is jar in status. And this وهم نائمون, this واو, what is the type of واو here? This is going to be واو حال, and هم نائمون is going to be the جملة الحالية في محل نصب. How many of you have understood this now and are clear with that? Everyone with me so far? فأصبحت كالصريم. Calling this far is going to make this sentence what in status? If I'm going to call فأصبحت, again my sentence is going to be في محل جر because it is معطوف on a sentence which is في محل جر, right? مضاف إليه. أصبحت, there was a question on my YouTube channel that when we have a kana وأخواتها, what is the type of sentence? When we think kana as fi'l naqis, how do we treat our sentence? We treat it as jumlatul ismiya. We treat it as jumlatul ismiya. But my dear sisters, if you see many of the students, if I show them kanu, do you know what are they going to label kanu? Tell me how they are going to label kanu. No. They're not going to call it jumlatul fi'liya. They are going to call it mubtada. They call kanu mubtada, khasirina as khabar, which is, I'm not really pleased with that mubtada. I am not going to take it as a right answer from you guys. When you are going to be, I'm not sure if you have got your test yet, but if you are going to call something like kanu as mubtada, I'm going to mark it as a wrong answer. And I'm usually not very strict with these kind of things because the basic purpose of any classes, especially Quran classes, to have better understanding of Quran. So, but there are certain rules, right? So if something is being emphasized and re-emphasized so many times, then it is important, and that is why when you guys look at these af'al, I just immediately ask you, okay, no, just call first fail naqis, nasikh, wa ismu kana, or wa ismu asbaha, such and such, right? The only reason of me reminding you of that is so that you do not end up making that mistake. Is that clear to all of you, that why I sometimes make you do this fail naqis, nasikh, wa ismu kana, such and such, like here asbahat ismu kana hiya, or kassareem jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil, right? Do you all understand why it's so much emphasized, and why sometimes I want to make sure that you call your kana wa akhwatuha, your fail, you understand them as fail nasikh, naqis, because when we are including them, when we were going over our nawasikhul mubtada wal khabar, did I include kana there? Do you see it in my list there? It should be there. If it is not there, you should know that, kana wa akhwatuha, kada wa akhwatuha, those were there. And there was another one. Do you remember? Just recently we did something. Zanna wa akhwatuha. Should we include zanna wa akhwatuha as nawasikhul mubtada wal khabar? What do you think? Right? It should be included in the category too, because here, فَجَعَلْنَاهَا nikala. So it is hiya nakalun, right? And then ja'ala came over and it made the mubtada as maful bihi awwal, and the khabar became maful bihi thani, right? Did it change the i'rab of that jumla ismiya? Did it alter that jumla ismiya altogether? Absolutely, right? It was originally hiya nakalun, but now your mubtada became maful bihi awwal and your khabar became maful bihi thani. Do you all understand this? That how all these af'al are included in this list? When they are included in this list, this one, zanna wa akhwatuha, is going to be still, we take it as, we are going to take it as jumlatul failure, because now ja'alna has taken over and it is fail tam. But when it comes to kada or kana or laysa, you are going to treat it as you treat, as you have been learning to treat it. Like, you are going to take the pronoun as ismu, laysa or ismu kana or ismu kada, and the khabar is going to be khabar is going to be khabru something, right? Whatever is there, khabru laysa or khabru kana or khabru kada. Are you all with me on that? Everything is clear so far? Okay. So, Sister Dilruba, is your question clear now? That why I keep re-emphasizing that, because if I there are certain, I myself I have learned it like that. People kadu yaf'alun, they may call kadu as mubtada and yaf'aluna as khabar, but that is not a correct way of doing the stuff, right? You are going to call wawil jama'a as ismu kada, and yaf'aluna is going to be fi mahalli nasbin khabru kada, right? So that is the reason, because there are students who keep on saying mubtada, or they keep on repeating the same things. If I still give them inna wa akhwatuha, they're going to still call the inna wa ismu inna as mubtada. They're not going to say have nasb wa ismuha, but in no Arab book you're going to find it as mubtada. Do you ever? And many of you, I know, I can tell by your answers, many of you, alhamdulillah, are very well versed with Arab books, alhamdulillah. So do you ever find that inna wa ismu inna written as mubtada of the sentence? Do you find it labeled as like that? Or how do you find it? You see here, there harf nasab, mushabba bil fail, right? You never ever see, if you see inna allaha, lafzul jalala is never going to be called mubtada in any of the Arab books. If you find in anywhere, bring it to me, okay? I just, out of interest, I want to see it, okay? So now, I hope this is clear to all of you, that and that question is also alhamdulillah answered, and you must have understanding that how, because of at, we are going to keep labeling our sentences as fi mahalli jarin if our fa is an at, and if it is how Allah is narrating it to us. So now comes your another question from the last session, and I, as much as I want to go on to do the next verses with you, I think it is important that we address each and every question as they come to us, and to the best of our ability, okay? We have covered it as foul at, but if you have found it somewhere as foul fasiha, that is fine. If as I told you, there are people, there are different Arab books, and people bring the show me the different Arab books, and sometimes they that's going to be written there, and they're going to send me the picture that this book is saying this. But I would just tell you that because this is a hurricane came upon it. After the hurricane came upon it, the event that immediately happened before it. The sequence is very clear here, right? So this is litartib wa taqib. How many of you understand it? A hurricane came, a storm came onto the garden, and it became like it was reaped, kasarim. So is it showing more a sequence of events, or is it hiding something? You're seeing a sequence, an event that must have happened right before it became kasarim, right? So it is more appropriate to call it faul atf, right? So I'm just saying, and that is why, otherwise you all have books, you all have access to Arab apps, but how you are going to get to them is an art, is how we are going to learn together. That if we are not calling this vow hal, what is the reason, right? What is the reason? If Arab books call it hal, is it correct? Those Arab books, are they written by, God forbid, Maazallah, are they, who is the writer of them? Who has written them? Who has written those books? Though they are people who have spent their entire lives. May Allah bless them. May Allah have special mercy upon them, right? But they are still people who have written that, right? When I was a very beginner student of grammar, I was like, just in the beginning, and I don't want to spend time on narrating incidents of my life, because those are not very important. But it is something, I was a very beginner student of grammar, and there was something that a Arab book said, and everyone disagreed with me on that. There was a group of sisters, alhamdulillah, and there were almost 200 sisters in them, and everyone just showed the picture of that Arab book. And I showed it to Sister Faiza, and she said, it totally makes sense what you're saying, and but because books, you can have sometimes mistakes, right? So yeah. Okay. Now, and I'm not discrediting any Arab book. They have been written by very, very good scholars, and that is why sometimes, I also say, okay, if you want to call it like that, maybe that's true, because Quran should make us humble, because I may not know something that that person who has written that book knows better than me. So I cannot take any credit from any person as well. Okay, so we have to be very, very humble when it comes to the knowledge of Quran, how we are imparting it, how we are taking it in. It is, it is job that is to be done with extreme humility, inshallah. Okay, so now there was another question that was asked in that last session. Inna balawnahum kama balawna ashab al jannati. So I'm bringing you back to verse number 17 before I forget. So my dear sisters, there was a question that this kama balawna ashab al jannah. When I was teaching you maful mutlaq, what kind of examples do you remember me giving you? And I'm going to show you them because I know it's not very easy to type everything, right? So, inna fatahna laka fatham mubina, right? In dammarnahum tadmira, right? Right? Something like that. That was the most of the gist of the examples that, that was basically all that I showed you at that time. So when you look at the structure, kama balawna ashab al jannati, does it look like something like inna balawnahum bala'an azima? Is it looking like that? So Safaiza, you're saying it is looking like that? It is looking like kama balawna is kama balawna ashab al jannati is looking like bala'an azima? Is it the same? It's not the same. It's not the same. Not at all. Not at all. Right? There's a difference, right? So I'm not disagreeing with any of you, but you are not seeing a structure like that, right? So now let's see if it was maful mutlaq, if you just have to call it maful mutlaq, it should be the same fail, and the masdar has to be from the same field. For example, fatahna laka fathan. Is fatahna coming from fatahna? Is dammarna tadmira? Is tadmira coming from dammarna? Are they the same masadir that belong to the same family? Do you all agree? Like fatahna, fathan, family one. Fathan is from family one. Dammarna, tadmira, family two. Do you all remember that? That once upon a time we learned a family number two. Dammara yudammiru tadmiran fahuwa mudammirun, right? So that kind of a thing. When it comes to your mafulun mutlaq, let's just learn few things about it, okay? So how are you going to see your maful mutlaq? Your maful mutlaq can be nakira, can be mu'arraf bil idafa, and can be mu'arraf bil al. Do you all see my slide? When it is nakira, it can be something like inna fatahna laka fatham mubina. Fathan is nakira. It can be mu'arraf bil idafa, wa sa'alaha sa'yaha. So there was a mudaf ilayhi ha that made it proper. Sa'yaha. So it is again sa'a, sa'ya, both the same families, right? Wala tabarrujna, tabarrujul jahiliya. So tabarrujul jahiliya, your maful mutlaq became proper because of what? because its mudaf ilayhi was proper. Is it clear to all of you? The same words, the same family, the same fail, and the masdar is also from that very fail. Do you all noticing that? Yeah, we are going to come to it. Yeah, inshallah. We are going to come to it. Don't worry. Yeah. Sister Shamim, we are coming to it, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so then you have this mu'arraf bi al, tuhibbur rasula, al habba kullahu. So sometimes you will have your maful mutlaq mu'arraf bi al, right? There is an al in the beginning. So tuhibbu, you love Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam a lot, right? So this tahibbu and al-hubba, same root letters, same masdar from the same fi'l, right? Same family, right? Yes, alhamdulillah. You have learned this information many times, that there are three types of maf'ul mutlaq. Maf'ul mutlaq can be muakkad lil fi'l, can be maf'ul mutlaq mubayyin lil naw, and maf'ul mutlaq can be mubayyin lil adad, right? You have all learned that. If your maf'ul mutlaq is such and such, it cannot be muakkad lil fi'l. What are the conditions when your maf'ul mutlaq cannot be muakkad lil fi'l? What are the two cases that you have been taught when your maf'ul mutlaq cannot be used for tawqid? When it is not for tawqid, when you don't consider it for tawqid. If it is a mawsoof, number one, if it is a mawsoof, like inna fatahna laka fatham mubina, so it has a sifa attached to it, right? You saw a sifa attached to your maf'ul mutlaq, so now it is telling you what is the type of victory they have been given. When you have bala'an azima, you know that what type of trial it was. It was a big trial, right? When you learn tabarrujal jahiliya, this word, that don't present yourself like show your beauty like the people of the past used to show their beauty. So this tabarruja was a mudaf, right? So two conditions when it is not going to be used for tawqidul fail is if it is a mawsoof, if it is a mudaf. Do you all remember it now? And can you put it down somewhere, inshallah? So those are the two cases, and this is a quick review for those two cases. Okay, so then you have learned the three purposes, and you already are aware of that it can indicate a number, it can be used to describe how the action happened, it can be used for emphasis. When it is used for emphasis, now you have refreshed your memory. When it is used for emphasis, it is going to be without a mudaf ilayhi, it is going to be without a sifa. It's going to be an independent word by itself. Okay? So then comes, if you have something that is acting like maf'ul mutlaq. For example, if I am sick and I ask Sister Shamim, to take the class, so who is she going to be for me? She is going to become my naib. Okay? She is going to be my representative. Okay? And she's going to run the session, and she's going to conduct the whole session. And in that case, she's going to start with dua, just like I do. She's going to bring the Quran, just like I do. She's going to do everything just like I do, but she's still not me. Do you think? Do you understand this point? Right? That, she's not Saima Sandhu, right? She's Sister Shamim, right? So they do everything. That when something is naib, it behaves, it acts just the same as it is naib of. The word behaves the same as it is naib of, but it is just not the same. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what are going to be naib from maf'ulun mutlaq. Okay, so what are the possibilities for that? Okay, for example, if you see here, jalastu qu'udan. Do you all know what is qa'da? Jalastu qu'udan. Qa'da is a part of your salah when you are sitting, right? Qada is when you're sitting, it means sitting, right? To sit. Qada is sitting. Qu'udan is the masdar that means sitting. Jalastu means I sat. I sat. Qu'udan are the words the same in meaning? Are they synonyms? Are they synonyms? Yes, they are, right? But are they the same? Are they sharing the root letters? No, they are not sharing the root letters. Me and Shamim, are we two sisters? Absolutely. Can she teach? Absolutely. But we don't have the same last name. We don't have the same first name. And there is some difference. So in that case, you are going to call Qu'udan as your naib anil mafule mutlaq. Okay? If you see something like that, you are going to call it naib anil mafule mutlaq. Another example, Fariha rajulu sururan. Surur means happiness, joy. Farhan means the same. If it was Fariha rajulu farhan, the man was very happy. Sururan is the same thing, but is it sharing the same root letters? No, but it has the same meaning. It has the same meaning, right? It has the same meaning. So what am I going to call? I'm going to call it naib anil mafulul mutlaq, right? Waqaftu. Waqaftu, waqf. What is waqf? When you stop, when you are reciting and you stop on some verse, you say that, I'm taking a waqf, right? So waqaftu, I stopped qiyaman. And qiyaman means what? Qiyaman is also, you're stopping. It's a standing position, but you're basically, also not moving in that, right? You're calm. You are just situated in one place, right? When you are in your salah and you do qiyam, you are standing, though you are standing, but you are stopping there as well, right? So let me just, this could be a problem example. So let me just remove it from here, because some may, not understand it as I'm trying to explain it. So just take these two examples and just think about it. If you have something coming up as your in the position of maful mutlaq, which has the same meaning as a fail, you are going to call it naib anil maful mutlaq. Not maful mutlaq, but naib anil maful mutlaq. That means that you have clear understanding of that since the root letters are not matching, but the meaning is matching. So this thing can be the naib of maful mutlaq. Doing the same thing, but it is going to be labeled as maful mutlaq, naib anil maful mutlaq. It cannot be called maful mutlaq. Okay, right? Yes, it is for Toki. Yeah. Now, look at another example. Uhibbuka kasira. Vaskurullaha kasira. What are we seeing here? Vaskurullaha kasira. In Quran, you also see Ya ayyuhallazina amanu zkurullaha zikran kasira. Is here zikran missing? And here uhibbuka hubban kasira, right? Do you think of that? So when you see something like kasira and your maful mutlaq is not there, but its sifa is there, it is going to be, the sifa is going to be considered naib anil maful mutlaq, right? Naib anil maful mutlaq, right? Then comes a number. For example, if I say rakatu arba'a riqa'atin, raka'atin, what is that? Is this the mutlaq for maful mutlaq for rakatu? Yes or no? Or fajliduhum tamanina jaldatan. Jaldatan, same root letters from fajlidu. Yes or no? But you are seeing a number. You are seeing a number before that. This number has to be labeled. And this number is representative of what? Is it not representative of your maful mutlaq? Is it not the naib of maful mutlaq? Yes. So you are going to label thamanina arba'a as naib anil maful mutlaq, and your jaldatan is going to be mudaf ilayhi majroor bil idafa, and tamyizul thamanina or raka'atin is going to be again mudaf ilayhi majroor bil idafa. Is it clear to all of you? How many naibs have we learned so far? How many naibs have you learned? You have learned 3. One was muradifuhu, which is a synonym. Sifatuhu, it is a sifa of your maful mutlaq. Then adadul masdar, it's a number. What denotes its number, like samanina, 80, arba'a, 4, right? And then you have your maful mutlaq there as well. But the first thing, the number is going to be labeled as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Okay? So I hope this is clear to all of you. Now look at the next one. Sometimes you are going to see another type of naibs. Okay? So they are going to be idafa ilal masdar. Okay? So can you see here? Fala tamilu kullul maili. Don't deviate like a full deviation to one side, how you people, sometimes deviate. So can this kulla be called maful mutlaq? Can you consider it as maful mutlaq? No, from now onwards, you are going to, if you have been doing it like that, from now onwards, you must know that this is your naib anil mafulul mutlaq, okay? And there are words like kulla, ba'da, jami'a, ay, haqqa, and this afalu tafdeel, they can be your naib, they can be naib anil mafulul mutlaq, and they are going to come up as mudaf, right? Karatu, badal qara'atin, badal qara'ati. So badal qara'ati, the bad is going to be labeled as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Hubbuka azamul habbi, this azamu is going to be naib anil mafulul mutlaq. I hope this is clear to all of you. Anything that is coming up as mudaf with words like kulla, ba'da, jami'an, jami'a, ayyu, haqqa, af'alu tabdil, and there is going to be a mudaf ilayhi, which is your maful mutlaq, but in the mudaf is going to be labeled as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Okay? Then sometimes what you're going to see is there is a pointer. There is a pointer, and you have seen it somewhere in Surah Taha, and we did not go into very much of detail of it, but you just notice this one here, al-isharatu ila al-masdar. So katabtu darsa hadhihi kitabata. So this kitaba, can it be a masdar from kataba yaktubu? Right? Kataba yaktubu, kitaba can be a masdar from that. But it is preceded by an ismul ishara, right? So this hazihi, ismul ishara, is going to be labeled as naib anil mafulul mutlaq, and kitaba can be a badal, atf beyond, as well as musharun ilayhi for ismul ishara hazihi. Okay? Is this clear? That what are the other possibilities? And this is another possibility for your mafulul mutlaq. So, ma yadullu ala alatuhu. What denotes the instrument with which the action was done? Sometimes you will see that an instrument is mentioned with which that action happened, and that instrument can be called as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. For example, darabal abubnahu sawtan. The father hit his son with a whip. So this whip, darban, happened with what? With sawtan, right? Darban was the maful mutlaq, but this darban, this hitting, happened with sawtan. So sawtan is going to be labeled as naib anil maful mutlaq, because it is one of the words which is sawtan is a instrument, right? It's an ala, and ism ala can be used as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. So the action with which the darb happened can be the naib anil mafulul mutlaq. رمينا العدو قذيفة. We threw a missile at the army, not a very good example, but just take it as an example only. So we threw a missile at the enemy. So this قذيفة is a missile, and this is going to be considered مفعول مطلق for رمي, and it's going to be labeled as نائب عن المفعول المطلق, right? Okay. No, here you are going to consider it as naib anil maful mutlaq. Your maful bihi is aduwa, so that is your maful bihi. This is how you are going to consider it, as you're going to call it. This ala is considered to be naib anil maful mutlaq. Okay. Okay. The next example. Sometimes you are going to see a damir al-aid على المفعول المطلق. How is it? Let me see. فإني أعذبه عذابا لا أعذبه أحدا من العالمين. I will punish him with a punishment عذابا لا أعذبه أحدا من العالمين. This who? Do you know what is the marja of this who? Anyone can tell me? Yes, it is azaban, and this who is going back to azaban, and this can be considered as your naibanil mafulul mutlaq, right? Is this clear? And now will give you another example instead of this example. I'm going to give you another example for this, okay? So no, I did not punish with this azab anyone. Ahadan is your ahadam min al alamin. Ahadan is going to be your mafulun bihi in this case, and this who is going to be considered naib anil mafulul mutlaq, and you will find this, and this is why it is labeled as naib anil mafulul mutlaq. You will find it in the books, and because this who is going back to azaban, it is not going back to that person. I will punish him with a punishment I did not punish with this azab anyone. Yeah. Is it the sifa of azaban? You can consider it like that too. Yeah, you can, because azaban is a commonism followed by a jumla. Yes, the whole sentence can be considered as a sifa for azaban. Yeah. Yeah. Then when you have ismu masdar, for example, wallahu ambatakum min al-ardi. Ambatakum. What was the maful mutlaq for this fail? Ambatakum. What should be the maful mutlaq for ambatakum? My dear sisters, your serf now needs to come in place. Ambata yumbitu imbatan. Ambata yumbitu nibatan. Nabatan is not the masdar for ambata yumbitu, right? Ambata yumbitu imbatan, right? Ambata yumbitu imbatan. So nabatan is not imbatan, right? So ambataha nabatan hasanan. An yusliha baynahuma sulhan. Sulhan. Aslaha yuslihu islahan. Do you see islahan? Do you see imbatan? You don't see that, my dear sisters. So these are going to be your ismu masadir, are going to be your naibanil mafulul mutlaq. Are you all clear on that? Alhamdulillah. Ma yadullu ala no'uhu. So ala no'ihi. Okay, and now last one. And this one is, little, Raja al-junudu, raju, this is, has been, you don't consider it being there, okay? If it was there, then that is changing the story. Raja al-junudu al-kahkari, al-kahkara. The soldiers retreated. Originally, it was ruju'an al-kahkara. So it is describing the type of ruju. But since the word was not there. I just, added it so that for your understanding, I just added it there. So, but kahkara is going to be denoting the type of maful mutlaq. It can also be considered naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Okay, so kahkara means retreat, and to what type of ruju they did? They retreated. They how will I put it? They just um, they retreated. They withdraw from the war. Okay, so basically that is what this example means. So these are few types of naib anil maful mutlaq. How many have we covered? You have covered 9 types with me. Nine types of naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Now come back to your kama balawna ashabul jannati. So my dear sisters, if you treat it as harf jar, so this is going to be jar wal majroor, and it can be muta'alliq bil. Can it be muta'alliq bil maful mutlaq mahzoof? Can you think of it like muta'alliq bil maful mutlaq mahzoof? That there was bala'an, and this is muta'alliq bil bala'an. Bala'an, we trial them with a bala, kama balawna ashab al jannati. Right? Can it be muta'alliq bil? And that's what Shamim, you also thought, right? You considered it like that, right? So if you are treating this ka as harf jar, this is going to be muta'alliq bil, right? You are going to not just simply call it maful mutlaq. You are now going to call it muta'alliq bil maful mutlaq mahzoof. Now, in the list that we have done, I'm going to first tell you this about this kaf. This kaf can also be ismiya lit-tashbih. And you know what it means in that case? It means misla ma balawna ashab al-jannati. So if it is misla, I'm going to consider it misla, what is it going to be then? It is coming up as mudaf, and then what should I label it now? When it is mudaf, among the 9 examples where you may have a mudaf like kulla badaf, it is going to be then considered naib anil maful mutlaq, right? Naib anil maful mutlaq, and kaf is going to be fi mahalli nasbin, right? It's going to be ism ismiya litashbih wa tahqiq, and it is going to be maful mutlaq, naib anil maful mutlaq, and ma balawna ashab jannati is in that case, ma is going to be the masdarul muawwal is in that case is going to be what? Masdarul muawwal in that case is going to be jar bil idafa, majroor bil idafa. In the first case, it is going to be majroor bi harf jar, right? Majroor bi harf jar. Everyone with me now? Is this clear to all of you? Alhamdulillah. So I think I was, there are certain topics when I'm reviewing surahs, I want to keep them like, I want to do them later on. So, but Alhamdulillah, I'm glad that, this question was asked, and Alhamdulillah, we were able to do the details of it. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this opportunity to, learn things in so much detail. But I will be honest, when I'm bringing surah to you, it's me telling you guys, let's take some rest and just review our previous concepts. But Alhamdulillah, we end up always learning something new with whatever we have learned. We just, again, Alhamdulillah, go back to it, and Alhamdulillah, it's all because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, we personally, it's a lot of revision review for myself. So it really, really helps me. Alhamdulillah. And my dear sisters, I hope it's all clear. Now, please make notes of it. I have not put it in notes like that. I am just giving you a giveaway. So your notes should be good when you are, if I'm treating it like this, it is this. If I'm treating it like harf jar, then this means this. I'm treating it like ism kaf as an ism, then it is going to be maful naib anil maful mutlaq. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So Alhamdulillah, I was very pleased to see when we in the last session did Fatanadaw Musbihin, we labeled Fa again as At, Nadaw, we labeled it as Jumla failure, and we called Waw as file, and Musbihin became our Hal, and Hal mufrad is mufrad, and it's always going to be common and a nasb status. And then I was very pleased to see how you were all able to determine the type of this an. I hope you were all, and this was my understanding, my dear students, that you were able to pick it up as an tafsiriya. And you know that after an tafsiriya, jumlatu tafsiriya is la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. And this was what their call was about. And this is explaining that what were they calling each other with. So, an yaghdu ala harsikum in kuntum sarimin. So then you go early to your crop if you would cut the fruit. If you would to cut the fruit, and we also covered how sometimes there is jumla shartiya, but jawabu shart is makhzoof. However, what is coming before it can be dalla alayha ma qablaha, right? Yeah, very well done, right? So we are able to call whatever has been mentioned before. We can say that, jawabu shart is mahzoof. We are not saying that jawab is there. We are just saying that whatever has been mentioned before, it is denoting what could be the possible jawab. If you were to cut your crop, then go early to your crop in the morning, early in the morning to your crop, right? Alhamdulillah. And then what they did, then when they were told that, when they called each other in the morning and they told each other that, go early into your crop, فَانْطَلَقُوا وَهُمْ يَتَخَافَتُونَ فَانْطَلَقُوا. So they went. So again, it's going to be an atf, and there's another sentence that you are going to be, it's going to be an atf, and it's going to be again fi mahalli jarin because of atf bil atf. It is jar because of atf, right? In talaqu is going to be fi'il madin. Wow is going to be your file, right? And then comes your another wow. See how many wows you're noticing here. Another, this wow, واو الجماعة في محل رفع. واو حالية لا محل لها من الإعراب. حرف, right? Waw hal is harf la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. When you see this waw, which is the part of the fail, it's always rough in status, because either it is going to be ismu something, or it's going to be naibul file, and it's going to be file, and it is a damir. It is a pronoun, which is damir baris. Very well done, Faiza. And then wahum yatakhafatun. Hum yatakhafatun is going to be, hum is mubtada, yatakhafatun is going to be the khabar of this mubtada, and is fi mahalli raf'in, right? Jumlatul fi'liya fi mahalli raf'in is the khabar of hum, right? Now comes, so they went early, so they went to it. They set out while lowering their voices and then saying, Allah yadkhul yadkhulannaha al-yawma alaykum miskin. So this an, again, what are you going to call this an? It is going to be tafsiriya. It is going to be tafsiriya. My dear sisters, make sure you review your notes on tafsiriya again and again. And this is whole, like just like a statement of them, right? There will surely not any enter up it today upon you, any poor person, right? So la is going to be here. How are you going to, you can call it la nahiya, yeah? And la nahiya, yadkhulannaha is going to be, in that case, going to be mudare, majzoom, right? Mabni, alal mabni here. Why is it mabni here? Why mudare and mabni? Why? Because when nunu toki, the sakila, or noon gets attached, nunu toki gets attached, it becomes mabni, right? It makes it mabni al fath, but this fail is fi mahalli jazmin, right? Fi mahalli jazmin. Now, when it comes to this nunu sakila, it is har la mahalla laha min al i'rab. This ha is going to be mafulun bihi fi mahalli nasbin. And this ha is going back to what? Do you see anything here in the verses? What is the marji of this ha? Garden. Very well done. Very well done. Just, trying to make sure everyone is awake. Al-yawma is going to be your zarf, and you can call it muta'alliq bil fail, right? Muta'alliq bil fail. Alaykum, again, you can call muta'alliq bil fail. And miskeen is going to be the doer for yadkhulannaha, right? Because it is a rafin status and it is an ism that is present after fail. Yadkhulannaha, right? It's a file. Very well done. وَغَضَوْا عَلَى خَرْدٍ قَادِرِينَ. So wow is going to be here. So what do you think? What is the type of wow? You are going to call it atf, right? Okay, so how many of you think it is a wow atf? Okay, so most of you are thinking that this can be an atf. Okay, so let's see. غَضَوْا is going to be fi'l madin. Wal fa'il wow ala khardin jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil qadirin is going to be qadirina is the hal of wabil jama'a. Do you all agree with that? Yes, very well done. So it is the hal of wabil jama'a. Then comes your verse number 26. And I am going to tell you, yeah, you can call it mafulun fihi too if you want to. One thing, ghadaw, some may tell you that this ghadaw is like is going to be treated like fail naqis, okay? But I will just, we'll just keep it like we have dealt with it in the past few verses. Just keep it like that. But it can be considered a sister of kana as well. Yeah. Okay. Is this clear? Ghadaw, ighdu, yes, like asbahu. Yeah. So it may be considered, and that will be correct, but we have considered it as fail tam, so we can keep it as fail tam together. Okay, inshallah. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا قَالُوا إِنَّا لَضَالُّونَ. Okay, now fa is there. You are calling this fa. Who is calling this fa as atf, litartib wa ta'kib. Okay, lamma. Lamma is, you have learned 3 types of lamma, right? So this is ismiya, zarfiya, shartiya. Do you all agree? And after it comes felu shart, which is going to be, what's the status of ra'uha? Fail madin is there, and waw is the doer, waw al jama, ha is going to be mafulun bihi. What is the status of this ra'uha? Is it jar or jazm? It is going to be fi mahalli jar, and Shamim is very, very smart. She wrote jar so that there is instead of writing fmj, which can be confused with jasmine. So she wrote fi mahalli jar. And barakallahu fikum to you all. Yes, it is. There is lamma is going to be mudaf, and rauha is going to be its mudaf ilayhi fi mahalli jar bil idafa, and this is going to be remember falamma ra'awha, it's going to be muta'alliq, it's going to be muta'alliq bil its jawab, right? Muta'alliq bil jawab, right? qalu is jawabu shart, qalu jawabu shart, wal fa'il jumla failya fail madin, wal fa'il waw al jamaa, inna ladalun is going to be maqulul qawl fi mahalli nasbin, inna nasb inna wa ismuha ladalun, lam is lamul muzahlaqa, daluna is khabru inna, right? You all understood it like that. And this qalu inna ladaluna is going to be connected with whatever has been mentioned before as mutaliq bil, right? This ra'a is basuriya or qalbiya. It's rayul basar or rayul qalb. Where I need a quick answer. Quick answer. My dear sisters. Okay, so most of you are saying, some are saying not most, some are saying qalb, some are saying basar. So my dear sisters, when your ra'a has only one mafulun bihi, when it has only one maf'ulun bihi, the type of ra'a is going to be basariya. When I was teaching you ra'a naran, it was rayul basar, because ra'a only had one maf'ulun bihi, so there is no confusion about it. So this is rayul basar here, right? It is literal seeing here, because why I'm saying so? Because only one maf'ulun bihi is mentioned after it, isn't it? That there is only one maf'ulun bihi, one maf'ul, just call it rayul basar. It is literal seeing. And with that thought, I will end my session, and I hope you find it beneficial. If you have any confusion, bring to Sister Faiza, bring to me, leave your questions in comment section wherever you want. But I would like them to be addressed in class so that everyone benefits from them. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yeah, so bring them in main groups, your questions, because that's going to be helpful for everyone. It's going to help all the sisters in the group, inshallah ta'ala, because not everyone is very good with going to channel and everything. And please, my dear sisters, yeah, you can send to both places as well. And the one thing you can do is that, don't forget to answer the questions that I post on YouTube. Okay, please do answer, inshallah, because that's for your review, inshallah.